I want to look at these computers. I know you guys don't want me to, I want to. Is anybody going to stop me?
It is in the other room.
Oh, guide you. Here you
No,
go.
do it.
Guidance.
Go ahead.
Also, Brenna, you see where my arrow is right now?
Yeah, I'm looking. I
The-
figured those were the holes, but
Those are big holes. Gotcha. Cool. Just making sure you knew, at least.
thank you, Adam.
Could
Yep.
everyone position
Adam,
themselves where they are on the ship? Shit.
I just had an idea that we shouldn't go in here now.
It's fine.
It's gonna be fine.
Hey, David,
Yes.
what was the D100 for?
Oh, yeah. So speaking of that, Morak and Sunny, thank you for reminding me. I was about to get to that, but it kind of got cut off by Dominic Banks's breakthrough
Sunny,
film.
canonically, the way we rolled this D100 is because we held each other's hand, we jumped up and down and said, "We're gonna do it. We're gonna do it."
As
We
you
got in a
guys
little
both
two-person
feel that,
huddle.
you feel this just kind of like this just sudden surge and just like this headache just kind of overwhelm you for just like not quite a migraine, but just like enough that like you kind of like recoil and feel like that kind of tunnel vision effect as you like open your eyes back up.
Is it obvious that Morik has felt this also?
I mean, if you were holding hands and jumping together, you guys both in tandem just suddenly recoiled.
You felt it too.
Yeah, that was clearly not a friendship jump type of tunnel vision that we got.
Is this what love feels like?
No.
Oh,
No,
Is this how
you,
people talk to each other?
Sonny, you don't get to feel those things. You're a robot.
Okay.
What are y'all saying to each other? What are you doing?
Too far in the improv, we don't know how to get back.
I really lost the narrative because I was trying to think of if any character was like cautious enough to be like, no, Morak, don't potentially risk your life at the computer things that you can't see.
The thing
because
is,
life
we're all
threatening."
curious.
Right, yeah, but like Ode's distracted, Kezia's like incredibly foolhardy at the moment, and everyone else is like not super
Wait,
interested.
I thought
is-
the D100s were related to Nebraska talking to us, so that's why I went into this bit, because that's when he had us roll them.
No, that was just a
No.
specific reminder.
So wait, was Morak? I lost it for a moment. Is he like approaching one of the computers, like as though he were going to interface with it, as he has in the past?
Oh, he announced
Morak
it.
is yes.
Yeah,
Okay,
he
I'm
announced,
sorry.
I'm planning on doing this. Does anyone want to stop me or something like
Uh,
that?
I sorry, it was prepping my spells. I very
Fine.
distinctly think that this has been a bad idea every time we've done it so far. Almost hurt you twice, almost hurt lots of us twice, brought down the entire place we were in last time, and very distinctly and specifically is part of the danger that we were trying to avoid here.
But it also gave us a lot of good information.
It's a lot of good, and just like you said, almost hurt us. Like, I'm
And I
getting
didn't.
better at this.
I mean, you're right. I see value to the information in it, but I'm thinking about the last one, if we're going to be practical here with it and all. The last one made the whole ruins we were in start to fucking crumble when you stopped interacting with it. If we're going to do that, we should do it on our way out, not our way in.
Well, to mention the first time you interacted with one of these, you were laid out because you got mind fucked so hard for like a week.
Yeah, but that was
The same kind of computer.
yeah.
But that was the first time he interacted
That was the
with that
first
kind of
time it happened, and then,
And then
We
we
also
got-
had to
You
cut the
fucked up
tentacle
the
off
second
from
time.
eating your brain.
Wait. I can solve this. I'm gonna do a bad vibes check. I got 19.
Honestly, the vibes here are all off, but you can't tell whether or not that's because everyone's just shitting on Morak's idea or whether because Morak's idea is in and of itself bad. It's hard to read.
All right, I want to walk up to the computer.
Okay.
What are you doing there, Sonny?
No, I see you guys, and Morak's like facing like this direction. He's still just arguing on why he should. As Sonny walked behind him.
Sonny, as you walk forward towards the computer, you do see you walk towards this very front one, right? You see, similar to the one in Fort Kingston, just kind of this ovoid like screen with just sheer blackness, nothing there but like a bit of a like shimmer and reflection, and this kind of like tentacle-esque thing kind of at the bottom that as you approach it kind of like shifts towards you, not like it's gonna grab you, but more of like it seems to be almost like acknowledging that someone is near.
Mm-hmm. Hmm.
Was Sonny doing this stealthily enough that we don't see him approach it
don't
because
think
we were
Sonny
involved in a
was.
conversation? Or
No, he
okay.
was just walking over to it. Do I feel anything as I approach it, like the migraine or anything like that?
Not immediately.
Hmm. Um. I can't remember. Did I actually go into the computer at Fort Kingston? I think I did
You
briefly.
did.
You did briefly.
Yeah. And it started to wreck your memories, remember? Everything was falling down in the room with the filing cabinets.
I mean, you do realize the irony in that statement. It wrecked your
Yes.
memories, remember?
Yes. Fair.
All right. Well, here's the thing. I think we're getting ready to go into this place. What are we actually looking for here? We're just trying to destroy shit.
Yeah, largely.
So here's the thing.
Okay.
From there, where do we go?
Out of here.
Exactly. What's the next step? If we don't know what the next step is, we're kind of sunk.
Sonny, you're thinking very far ahead of this. I think I feel like what's happening next will come to us.
Well, and also we kind of had a plan for the next step. It was to travel north and then see if we could locate the person, this being that's been contacting Artuk in his dreams about the blight thing.
Yeah, and the other good thing about that was we know the location of one more of these temples, and it's out that way too. So I feel like we have enough info to go off of if that's what you were getting at there.
I'm not entirely against booting into one of these things. It seems like, I mean, initially, yes, perhaps it was dangerous, but I cannot imagine that these things are designed to kill whoever uses it. That seems like a terrible design flaw. And by my observation, I think Morak has gained some skills in the the sort that would help him access this. So
Well, a mouse trap isn't designed to hurt humans, so we have to decide if we're the mouse that's in the trap or the humans with these computers. With
Who's
these
to say it's a
things.
trap?
Well, in terms of if it's not designed to hurt the user, it depends on. We don't know its design, and it has hurt us in the past. It has hurt Morak in the past.
that is true.
Hey, DM.
Yes.
Here's a weird use of something, but if we were if this was intended to hurt users who weren't, using it correctly, in that sort of a way, like it has an ill effect on anyone who isn't, the initial designer or something like that, would it proc if I cast Find Traps? Because the way that the spell reads, it's a trap for the purpose of the spell includes anything that would inflict a sudden or unexpected effect you consider harmful or undesirable, which was specifically intended as such by its creator.
I mean, you could try.
Sure. Is it I mean, if it's worth our while, I can try to suss out if there was any ill intent by the designer or if it's just, we're hurting ourselves through ill use of it. But even that, I feel like, at the end of that, like, if I'm like, okay, it's not inherently made to hurt us, that doesn't mean that being an idiot with it is not going to hurt us anyway.
That's true.
I think Ode kind of briefly joined the conversation and then kind of looked at how I can still describe it later, but her kind of note-taking apparatus, and then kind of walks away maybe to one of these computers over here to continue that, and just says, I'm just kind of hesitant of these things hurting us, and I really don't want them to explode this place before the time's over, and then kind of says that over her shoulder as she walks away.
Let me just say one thing. The last 2 times that I interfaced with these things, I was trying to gain a lot. The first one, it was very much a new thing. I was trying to figure out everything that was going on here. The second time, I was trying to learn about how Sunny was made, what the Mind Flayer's goal was, what happened at Fort Kingston, and where all of the bases were. And I mean, that was a lot, and that's what caused it all to shut down. Granted, there was also other things going on there where I know Arta got sucked into it and Sunny got sucked into it. All I want to know here is what was going on. I don't need anything more than that. I don't think Fort Kingston was a major operation. This one, at least from what Jabraska has told us, which is very little, it does not seem like a major operation, especially seeing outside of here. It's just like the last Fort Kingston, they built a giant fort on here. Outside, it's just a small shanty town, and I know that the weave breaking did not help the shanty town, but it's still not a large structure. I do not think that this is as major as that one was. I think if I interface with this, if I put on the helmet, I feel that it might help me in some way, not get affected by it as much.
I mean, I'm gonna put it this way, Morak. I think that there is useful information you might be able to get out of this. I don't know if it's necessarily information we need. If it is, then it could be worth getting it. And I think that you make a fair point about you've done this a couple of times, you've learned a bunch as you've gone. But also worry with all of this that we dive into that the approach we've taken has sort of been try it, we'll probably be okay, and then get hurt real bad. I feel like we've kind of let ourselves get led by our hubris the whole way through this so far, and I see that as kind of a worrying pattern. Um, if you are confident in yourself, I'm willing to trust again, but if hubris ends up getting us hurt, that's just another piece of data for the pattern, I guess. Um, it's up to you there. I'm not going to say no, don't do it if you think you can, but you know, be careful of what's motivating your decisions and whether it's confidence well placed in yourself or too far placed.
Well, there's an. I appreciate what you're saying, Artuk, but there is this old Orcish phrase that you remember how to say it in common, but it's called third time's a charm. Um, and
Sound like you just said it.
I'm feeling good about this one.
I'll support, but we're gonna get the fuck out if we need to. I mean, worst
Yeah,
case scenario,
I
we can
want
come
you
in here.
guys near me to pull me. If you start seeing me convulse in any way, pull me out. Most
I
of
think
this
you
has
got
been
this.
most of the stuff here has been destroyed each time I've interfaced with it, and it's been bad.
I mean,
There
last
were things
time
here.
you didn't start convulsing until after you got released from it. So,
I
Wasn't
mean,
that 2 times ago?
yeah.
yeah.
My
Either way,
memory's been fuzzy for the past 2 days. I don't know why.
I mean, go for it if you're gonna go for it. We'll pull you out if we need to, but if we need to again, remember how many times we've needed to at that point.
You have my full support. I put up 2 big thumbs. Well, small thumbs.
I'm gonna. Should we take some kind of precautions? Is just severing the connection between that tentacle thing and him? Is that what we need to do, or?
That's what worked the first time we did it.
Yeah, that worked. He was fucked up for a long while afterwards, which
Yeah,
is rough. But
did that hurt to do that?
I mean, it did not hurt.
Like, specifically the severing of the tentacle, did that specific part hurt? Like, could you feel the tentacle?
Grumsh.
You couldn't feel it wasn't like they were cutting off your hand, but it was like a very sudden like mental feedback right into your brain that hurt a lot.
sort of like you felt it in the same way that if you were asleep and somebody threw a bucket of ice water, you don't it's more the shock of waking up than any kind of pain.
Yes, it did hurt, but I feel there were other factors at play there.
Okay, I have an idea. What if I do think it is worth doing. I am firmly in your camp right now, Morak. Let me just put that out there. But I think maybe if Byron, you were to cast your little like mind enhancing drug that you've got on him, and then I were to continuously pray for him, and I know that sounds like dumb, like thoughts and prayers, whatever, but like it actually has a tangible
We've met
benefit.
God already. It's not dumb anymore, Zeka.
Oh, that's a good point. Well, I can pray for you, and it will literally help you accomplish this task. So I think if we do that, and if we keep an eye on you, Artuk, you could probably insight, or you could look at his countenance to see how he's doing, and we can pull him out if we need to. And I think it is a risk, but it is a worthwhile risk to take because
I mean,
knowledge is power.
I should probably clarify that my beatboxing of counter charm only helps save him from being charmed or frightened.
Oh, can't you cast enhance ability?
I guess I could.
It's.
I
I
don't
was
know.
thinking
I
about
need to
that.
know what ability to enhance.
It's also a little early to start.
Intelligence.
It's also a little early, I feel like, to start, dishing out magic. We're in the first room here. There's probably a lot more ahead of us.
Right, but if a second level spell, metagaming pigeon, if a second level spell can prevent him
Walk
from taking
over and start
40
touching it before we start metagaming too hard.
All right.
Yeah, I think that at
Um,
this point we can talk forever. Let's do it. I feel like we're all in the same boat here.
Morak.
Let's do it. And let's be
wait,
careful.
wait, wait. Can I interject?
Yes.
Sure.
Okay, Ode has kind of been taking her like notes of these like thing in the center, this thing, and these two computers. And as she's leaving to go to this room over here, she kind of turns over her shoulder and she says, "No, bringing this place down too soon." And actually, I don't know if now I kind of think it might be okay if I'd like described what she's been doing also.
Yeah, do your thing.
Mhm.
Cool. So I think when she first came over to this area, she actually pulled out some of her tailors and weaving tools and kind of unspooled some like yarn or thread from a spool and just kind of like left it in a pile on the ground. And then kind of like the memories in Harry Potter style, like made these little kind of like just pinched her fingers together and then formed these little like glowing pieces of thread that she started wrapping around the spool. And this is kind of a modified cantrip that David, it's like based off of an existing cantrip called Encode Thoughts, but we thought that it would be cool if the cerulean eye used it to like rather than taking specific notes and everything that they see, if they want to like record something, they can just encode their thoughts into these spools that can then be held and transported and then kind of like re-encoded back into the whole archive once they get back to the monastery. So she's just kind of like looking at encoding all the details of what she's seeing, kind of if there's any specific like hieroglyphs or runes or anything, and just kind of like generally like the size of the room and like the if she's noticing anything in the computers. And kind of in this room she's going to be looking like specifically at how many of each species there are and what they look like and that kind of thing. And so I think like later on she'd like to record from Morak like what does it look and feel like to be in the computer, but this is kind of what she's doing since she knows our purpose is to like destroy this place.
That's so cool.
Thank you. Okay, so she says don't bring it down too soon and then walks into this room. And David, is Jabraska where he's standing, kind of like out of the room?
Sorry, I meant I've just was playing around with him. No, he actually is just kind of wandering around in here.
Okay. I think O would be like, if you want to go back to the main computer room, it's where the most people are, and kind of looks at him like, you don't need to be alone with me.
He looks like he's about to make a point and then thinks, yeah, I'll walk over there. Yeah, Morak, what do you do as you walk over to this?
I'm gonna pull out the Mind Flare helmet, put it on, and then touch the computer.
As you do, and as you put on the helmet especially, Sonny, I think you were watching this, the tentacle like notably shifts from towards you towards Morak. Like just immediately gravitates towards him as he puts on the helmet. And do you reach out towards tentacle?
Are you asking me, Sonny?
Honestly, either.
Yes.
Oh. Yeah, I do not.
Okay.
I think I'm gonna get ready to just like sever the connection if anything looks like it's going wrong.
Okay.
As soon
I'm
as
gonna
he
ready my
reaches out,
action.
I'll start beatboxing my counter charm.
And I am both going to give guidance to Morak.
All right.
And are you doing that as well?
No, it's fine. You go ahead.
I'll give it to Sunny instead.
Yeah, all right. Then I will. Well, finish your thought then.
Sorry, did I? Okay. Either way, I will give some guidance. And what was the other thing I was gonna say? Oh yeah, and I'm going to do my best to try to not interact with the computer at all, but I want to try to mentally, via the Siren Matriarch's gift, keep tabs on Morak's mind.
Okay. Okay.
I basically just want to try to watch from a distance, hear what's happening in there, and be able to tell if there's distress we can't see.
Morak, as you reach out to touch the
And I cast
tentacle.
guidance on him.
Okay. And as you have guidance cast on you, but the tentacle begins to kind of, as you reach it, begins to wrap itself around your arm, very similarly to how it did way below the waves, like probably 2 months ago at this point for you guys, 2 or 3. And immediately your vision begins to just kind of flatten in a similar way to it did before. And when you put on the helmet initially, and you just kind of see the world darken around you, and you see like this kind of same psionic energy field for just a second. Make a intelligence saving throw.
Hey, is Morak wearing the helmet?
Yes.
Yeah.
Hey, David.
Yeah.
So I'm just gonna sit down next to like Morak's, this next to Morak, and I'm just gonna cast. I want to cast Mage Hand, like just my little invisible Mage Hand for right now, just as a.
Okay. You got it. Morak, as you feel this, those familiar kind of just like voice isn't the right word, but just that kind of echoey effect of just like this frantic like voice and whisper, and it just begins to fill your mind again. Artek, if you're listening and you just kind of hear this discordant whisper that is like a little bit jarring, because Morax mentioned like an effect on him, but never quite this. Morak, you are going to take. You're going to take 3 points of psychic damage out the gate.
Okay.
But as you do, you just start hearing this like guttural, like just like groaning scream kind of begin to fill your mind, and like suddenly, like all the blackness, all the vision around you, it kind of returns back normal. Like you are snapped back immediately into reality, and you see the kind of interface in front of you, the kind of ovoid one, light up just a little bit, kind of similar to when you see a TV turn on. There, it's like still black, but there's kind of like that undercurrent of light that you can just notice. You just begin to see what languages does everyone speak?
Orcish, common, goblin.
Fluent, giant, and decent common.
Common and gnomish.
Common, primordial, and orcish.
Common and halfling.
Zeka knows Sylvan, Elvish, Draconic, and Dagger.
All right. Didn't expect that
Can't
last
even
one.
speak common. It's weird.
But as you go through, all of you just see from the right side of the screen, just kind of moving towards the left, kind of just along the perimeter and wrapping in. You just see these characters begin to form in just a language you guys aren't fully sure of, and just kind of begin to wrap around the edge and kind of just begin to work towards this spiral moving inward. Morak, make an intelligence check. You have guidance on you.
What does that mean?
I think a D4.
Yeah, you get a D4.
Does he get advantage from the
What?
counter charm?
Nope.
Didn't think so.
Would that just be? Oh, that's just a saving throw, right?
It's just it's an intelligence ability check. I don't know what
Okay.
your saves are.
I can assure you that fighters don't get intelligence.
All right, add a D4 to that real quick. Son of
I'm
a
a smart boy.
son of a bitch.
What was it? Was it 4? Was it 4?
Yeah.
Yeah, it
Got
was
26.
With a 26 composite, as
Yo.
you go through, you see these kind of just unknown letters in this unknown language begin to kind of spiral around you. And then it all just kind of begins to fade, and you see just at the very center of it, very center, just completely different from the rest of the kind of interface, you see Orcish script begin to go across. And excuse me. It says life support, critical, and then just 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 through like, or sorry, primary life support, critical, 1, 2, 3 through 12, and just all of them just a flat line.
Can other people see this? Because you describe it like I'm not in the computer,
It
right?
is, or if you can read Orcish, you can read this as well.
Guys, look at the ground. Are the 12 pods or remnants of pods?
I look around.
There are
Is there?
7 that you can see. Oh wait, sorry.
Yeah, I
10.
meant
It
remnants.
counts up to 10. It counts up to 10. Got the number wrong on that. There are 7 remaining here, and there are 3 empty spots for it.
Okay.
Hmm.
Morak's gonna like try to shake the tentacle off of his arm.
I mean, if you really try, it will give and release you, but like it's kind of like holding like a somewhat firm grip on you.
Yeah, I'm just gonna like shake it off.
All right.
Yeah, if he has any trouble shaking it
I'll-
off, Sunny's gonna help him.
I'm gonna help too with my mage hand.
Okay, yeah. As you guys do, you're
I'm
able
giving
to
guidance.
your guys are able to just get his arm out, and then as you do, you see the interface just kind of like hitting the remote on the TV, just ooh, and just goes back to dark.
Yeah,
What was that sound again?
these are just systems to control the pods.
Okay.
These aren't. This isn't one of the computers that. Yeah, I should have guessed because I don't believe they look similar, but it's been a while. Definitely has the same layout, but I feel like these ones might just be to control pods. If you guys are okay with it, I'd like to also check the pod in the other room with creatures still in them. Or the
Sure.
computer in the other room with the creatures still in the pods.
Sure.
Okay.
Then, yeah, as you head in, do you go? So there are a variety of little creatures that are in these pods. Do you walk over to this computer as well?
Yes.
Okay.
Wait, hold on. Before we do this, we need to address what do they. I feel like there is a chance that these things come back to life.
Well, I want to know if any of them are.
Are I feel like we should be ready to destroy them.
Oh, yes. 100%. I just need to know because before there was a. Before there was a mind flayer in one, and that one was actively trying to get out. What worries me is that these were put here, like the matriarch were.
Yes. How many of these, David? How many of these have things in them?
Isn't it all the intact ones?
Pretty much all the intact ones. They're kind of bobbing around. You guys weren't able to see if they were like specific signs of life when you last went through, but you may well be able to get some new info now.
Yeah, but I mean, just like there's the ones that are intact all have things in them.
Yeah, which I did I not make the token?
I know you sent pictures for
I
me.
sent them somewhere, which is what they are. There is a variety mix of these different creatures, though. One, and it basically amounts to it is a kind of strange, almost moth-looking, like bipedal humanoid. This is a bald green green humanoid with like sharp ears that is kind of just suspended and floating with like I said, green skin and kind of just different facial marks. Something that looks like a Neanderthal human, and something that looks like a Neanderthal orc, effectively. This kind of gross, like overgrown, like tumor covered and like hyper muscled on one side. Again, humanoid, but with like just kind of these unnatural growths and like more like yeah, just not quite human looking.
Okay, yeah.
And there's one more. Oh, and something that looks like a bipedal four-armed ant.
I'm gonna get ready to blast the tumory muscly one. If like it comes out, I'm gonna prepare my Eldritch Blast. If it starts, I don't know, if it comes back to life or breaks out of its containment. If they didn't even break out of their containment, I think I will get ready to blast them.
Okay. Mark, do you go to the computer once more?
Yes.
Make another intelligence save.
And I'm going to continuously cast guidance on him,
Okay.
like over and
Guidance
over and
doesn't
over
work
again.
on saves, right?
Yeah, I know, but he'll have to make a check at some point.
This time, you only take 2 points of psychic damage.
Cool.
But once again, you just kind of feel this again kind of rush, and just to save a bit of time, that kind of same experience you had just a moment. This time, though, make an intelligence check. You again have that D4. 15. Okay. What comes before you is again that screen, and like it begins to kind of sprawl with this weird language, and then transitions back into Orcish. You see the words subject life support, and just kind of going down the list 1, 2, 3, on, and just individual pods that are marked with kind of like almost like a photo of just the different subjects, and it's just like terminated, 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 low function, terminated, such that you gather that, or and then just like different life signs along it. So some of the pods that are not intact, the inhabitants, as best you can gather, have since deceased. But you sense that there are 3 creatures that are still alive in there, with just like still very faint but life signs that are like immediately visible. It's like a kind of like a it's basically like a measuring to put it in medical terms, it'd be like kind of tracking like electronic activity in the brain, or like a heartbeat, or like rates of that are clearly just showing
Yeah.
vital signs.
The creatures in the back to tank that still are alive are giving us signs.
Exactly. They are themselves not moving right now, but they are on the
Yeah.
computer. They have some vital signs, and it is specifically that kind of green bald sharp featured creature, and the tumored one that Sunny is aiming down, and then just one of the kind of ant like ones.
Okay, everybody. There's and I explained that to the group. Can I gain any? Is this just a life support computer?
Do you probe deeper?
I try to learn anything I can about the green elf.
Okay, make an intelligence check once again. You still have guidance, because I'm just going to assume Zeka's popping that constantly.
Yeah, I'm literally just like praying over and over and over again.
21.
Okay, as you go through, you basically kind of, in a strange way, kind of select it and kind of pull it.
I use the tentacle and I like move it around like a joystick to get on the green guy.
Absolutely. But yeah, as you kind of pull up, you do see words that it's kind of just like resistance, high resistance, kind of just going down the list. Unknown origin, or not unknown origin, origin unknown, interrogation pending, kind of just words and just like different conjectures, and then like confiscated equipment, which is the words mean nothing to you, but you see pictures and what it looks like forms of armor, like a weapon of some sort that's kind of like a pole arm with a very sharp blade on one side and a kind of metalloid looking kind of pommel on the back. And
Oh,
just
it's a
like,
Shaolin spade.
all right, I'll be looking that up in a minute. But yeah, and you just see kind of this baseline info, and it just seems to be some kind of prisoner of unknown origin, or yeah, unknown origin isn't the right word. It seems like they captured this creature and intended to interrogate it for information about its origin, and that it was part of a more wider, like, resistant effort against those who were in charge of these ruins.
Okay, I relay this to the group and then I ask. So I feel I'd like to wake this one up, but we could easily do that once we're leaving.
I mean,
That's probably for the best.
if it's something we're gonna kill, I'd rather kill it on our terms.
Fair.
I don't know if I want to kill this one.
Well, I mean, not saying that we're going to kill it, but if it comes, I'm just saying, if we get farther into this place and then this thing decides to come back to life and hunt us down, it's gonna be attacking our butts.
Well, not yours, but I digress. I'm. I'll let this one be to the group. Well, I'd love to learn about this thing now. I feel like there might be more pressing matters of figuring out what the rest of this place was about.
I agree with you on that one.
Agreed.
Sure.
That said, I do think we should try to kill the big muscle-bound one. Like, is there like a choice of just like terminate or anything in those screens?
And I just don't like. What if it's a nice person and they're just muscly? Like, haven't you ever met a Goliath? Like, they're pretty. Like, some of them look scary, but they're just big muscle men and women.
I, I understand that, but I feel like we could take the little green elf. I feel like that thing could really fuck up our steez, you know?
Okay, but Zeka could fuck us up, and like, look at him.
That's
What?
true.
I don't think that necessarily appearance dictates power.
Can I call Jabraska over here?
I think we kind of have to
You see him
decide
creepily
if we
watching
want
in the
to
hall.
assume that we have the capability to wake them up and then decide if they are a harm to us and to the greater world, or if we just if we have that ability at all, or if we just kind of have to assume that they are either non-functional or just inherently hostile.
Um,
Well, let's see. It did say that, like, it gave like a little creature profile, didn't it? So maybe we could read the profile on the big muscly one. If it says, hey, it's a big aggressive fucko that wants to kill everything it sees with its one giant hand. I wonder what it did with that one hand. I'm getting sidetracked. Then we kill it, we terminate it. But if it says, like, a gentle giant that loves to give wonderful one-armed hugs, then we leave it be.
I mean,
I think-
I'll go over to the. I can. I'm pretty good at navigating this menu now.
Guys, didn't we literally talk about earlier not wanting to get too cocky about exploring this UI that hurts him every time he uses
It's
it?
just a tentacle arm. It's just like a joystick, man.
Like,
I mean, he's doing a pretty good
You
job.
don't
on it.
understand. It's a Unix system. He knows this.
I mean, you know
I'm
what?
actually
Fine.
I'm just about done with everything I want in here, so I'm gonna go start taking notes in that big brain thing. And be just mad at you.